So, the big topic that everybody's really wondering is unemployment. What's going on with that? When are gig workers going to be able to file in certain states? When are they going to be accepted for the claims? And when are they actually going to start getting paid? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about right now is a little bit of an update for unemployment with gig economy, with independent contractors, self-employed, and freelancers. Hey everyone, Chris here from Real Rideshare Stories. If you're new to the channel and you're looking for different things within the rideshare industry, whether it's news, updates to what's going on, tips and tricks for passenger drivers, or what actually happens on real rideshare rides, start now by hitting that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Also make sure to check the description below for other helpful information and tips. So ever since the stimulus package had been signed by President Trump in very late March, everybody has been wondering when and how much longer it'll take until they're actually able to get their unemployment benefits being a gig worker like driving Uber and Lyft and some other of the gig platforms. Well, unfortunately, it's been a waiting game because it's a brand new extended benefits program that the federal government still has to show and tell exactly what's going on for the states, what's required, what they need to do, and in turn, some states are taking longer to be able to enact these measures, while other states are actually doing it before all of this kind of goes through from the federal government. So states like New York State, they're actually offering unemployment benefits to gig workers already, whereas other states haven't been able to do that yet. So I'm going to reference this article right here from CNN called Self-Employed Workers Stuck Waiting for Help. Link will be in the description below if you want to read it. But we're going to go over this right now because there's a lot of things talking about unemployment when it comes to gig workers. So as you go through, you can see many unemployed Americans are starting to see a bump in jobless benefits, but it'll likely be a few more weeks before independent contractors and gig workers start receiving checks. And some may not end up qualifying at all. So they did open up unemployment benefits, like I said, to gig workers, freelancers, independent contractors, self-employed, and gig workers who aren't eligible for traditional state benefits could access this aid. But most states have yet to finish reprogramming their tech systems to accept residents' applications, which we've all known. That's why it's been taking so long. That's why you see some states' websites say, please do not file yet. You see other states that say file now. And then you see some that haven't even changed yet. But this website, or I should say this article at least, is going to give a few states updates. So if you live in one of those states, you'll kind of have a little bit better of an idea and something you can really pay attention to. So once they're able to file, some may find they aren't eligible for assistance. And this is going to be a big problem for people who are looking at it and trying to rely on it. So the Federal Department of Labor released guidance this past weekend, and some experts say they could exclude some non-traditional workers or limit benefits they receive. So seeking the help of millions of Americans losing their jobs amid this whole virus pandemic, lawmakers approved the expansion of unemployment benefits with that stimulus package. And like I said, it was signed into law on March 27th and boosted all these checks by $600. And while some state agencies started to roll out the additional $600 payments, many say that adding new categories of workers to the pandemic program is a much heavier lift. Though the new benefit is based on Disaster Unemployment Assistance Program, or the DUA, which you may have seen pop up here and there, even though it's the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, it's just the extension of it. It requires states to create new applications, accept different proof of earnings, and set up back-end systems. So this is all being done very quickly, and a lot of states just are starting to receive guidance from the federal government, and that is what is causing this backlog. So all this is coming in a time when states have been slammed by new hordes of newly jobless people trying to file for unemployment, and nearly 17 million Americans submitted first-time unemployment claims over the past 3 weeks. So this is the most and fastest amount of new claims that has ever happened. So couple that with all these new guidelines and back-end office, plus already maxing out all states' unemployment offices, it's just this perfect storm of craziness that's going on. So here's the biggest problem. Now, no estimate for independent contractors and self-employed workers. Many states, CNN contacted this week, say they have no estimate for when independent contractors and self-employed would be start approved. So California, for instance, said that it will take time to build the staff of the complex new program that likely rival the size its current unemployment benefits system. The State Employment Development Department says it will update its website as information becomes available. So some states are already starting to provide projections. So Mississippi, those who live in Mississippi or are going to be filing there, they hope to finish reprogramming the system and begin accepting applications next week. So again, this is Friday, April 10th. So hopefully they're going to have it ready and getting going by next week. Director of State Unemployment Agency Timothy Rush said in a webinar on Wednesday, it will then send these residents a notice asking them to go back online and submit financial documentation of their wages, such as 1099 tax forms and earning statements for 2019. So if you are a gig worker, you will have to most likely provide your 1099s, which has been said before, but this is just double verifying it a little bit more. So the agency is still waiting for more details from the Federal Department of Labor before it can send the notifications. So Utah's Unemployment Insurance Benefits believes it can post the applications to its site early next week. And they said, however, it may take 21 to 30 days for jobless to be approved to receive payments, the same time it takes for the traditional program. So even though you might get your application in, it still may be up to a month before you're going to get paid. But the good news is it will be backdated. But unfortunately, for the next 30 or so days, that could cause a severe problem when it comes to economic and the burden it may face when trying to pay bills. So if you are in this type of circumstance where you are waiting for your unemployment to come in and kick through, make sure you're doing everything you can to cut down on expenses. And then talk to people who you may be renting from or who you have your mortgage from, and see if you can push these things back a little bit, or at least wait until things are all set and ready to go. But any bills you have, make sure you verify with that particular place that it's okay because you are waiting for unemployment. Most places will understand and they will give leniency, especially if you talk to them. But if you don't talk to them, that's when certain things can happen, where it's late fees, where you may have problems and a whole plethora of issues that you don't want to face. So the easiest thing while you're waiting is to get in contact with these places where your bills are, your renting, mortgage, whatever it might be, and just tell them what's going on. Again, most of them will be pretty okay with that. So meanwhile, in North Carolina, it said on Thursday, it estimates that it can start accepting claims around April 25th. So that's still 15 days away from when I actually recorded this video. So it's still a long time away. And Massachusetts expects to launch the program on or around April 30th and is asking potential eligible residents to check the unemployment agency's site for updates. So if you're in North Carolina or Massachusetts, it could take a little bit longer for you. So make sure you pay attention to those states' websites and do it when they say you are able to. So the delay is not sitting well with many self-employed workers, which is pretty much the case because you kind of need to make sure you get your money. And that is a unfortunate problem. One of the things down here that is very interesting and a bit major problem for especially those people who are thinking that unemployment will be coming to them because they're a gig worker, a freelance worker, an independent contractor, or a self-employed person, and that may not be the case. So again, link will be in the description, so if you want to read this article a little bit more and check upon it, definitely look at that. But while the stimulus package extends benefits to a wide group of workers, some advocates fear that the Department of Labor's recent guidelines may mean some of the newly jobless won't qualify in states that opt to implement it more conservatively. For instance, the document says that independent contractors such as ride-sharing service drivers may not be eligible because they don't have a place of employment and can't say they can't work because it's closed. They may still qualify if they've been forced to stop working because of a state or municipal order restricting movement, making continued operation unsustainable. However, not all governors have ordered drivers off the roads. Senior fellow at the Century Foundation said, food delivery workers who do not want to continue ferrying orders because they fear getting infected may not qualify. So the beauty of freelancing is that you can hustle and get your work on your own, he said, but right now people can't. Either they can't find customers or it's dangerous for everybody if they were out hustling. So some experts take the opposite view, arguing that the guidance is in line with the law. Both focus on the health-related consequences of the coronavirus and not the secondary effects that are playing out through the economy. So that is a very possible issue. So if you are an Uber driver and your business is dried up, the regs pretty much say you are not eligible. And this is a real problem. So the Department of Labor did not immediately respond to a request for comment. And another troubling aspect of the guidance for advocates, some Americans who had to stop working because of the coronavirus may find their benefits are cut off only a few weeks or months. The guidance notes that many of the qualifying circumstances, such as being advised to self-quarantine, are likely to be a short-term duration. Likely, as school is not considered closed as a direct result of the public health emergency after the school year was originally scheduled to end. These provisions place additional burdens on state agencies to determine whether these claimants continue to be eligible for benefits. So now this is some worrisome and troubling news that I have come across. Anytime there is an update, I will bring it to your attention so you know, but I don't know anything more than this, so please don't ask me specifics if you still qualify or not, because the short answer is I don't know. All I know is that this may be a real reality of certain places not allowing benefits to go through with gig workers, although hopefully that will not be happening, and hopefully that it is just a hiccup in the system, and all of these regulations and everything that is going through will be addressed, and all gig workers who need to file for unemployment will be able to. Now, one thing I would recommend doing if you fear that your unemployment may not go through, and this is something that you are relying on as a gig worker, and that is you could voice your opposition and voice your opinions to both your state lawmakers and the federal lawmakers that are representing your area. And if you voice these opinions and these concerns and tell them, look, you need to make sure to cover gig workers because this would put a lot of people out of business and into a true financial and economic burden, because yeah, there might not be any rides going on in your area, and you may have to do different things in order to try to continue your family's life. That might be staying at home with the children for school. That might also be taking care of loved ones when they have autoimmune issues or anything along that nature, where health is also a concern. So again, you could try getting hold of your state lawmakers as well as your local representatives in the federal government and make sure they hear your voice. Now, for anybody who has applied for unemployment in states, comment below, let me know, have you been approved or denied? And if you've been approved, have you seen any payments come through yet? Or are they still waiting for a few other things? Comment below, let me know. Also, comment below and let me know what you think along this whole thing, whether some people may not qualify in certain areas if states implement it a little bit differently. Let me know. That's the end of this video. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications so anytime a new update does come out, you will know, as well as any of the regular content that is produced. And always make sure to check the description below for other helpful information and tips, as well as a link to the article so you can reread it or read it a little bit more in full. And as always, never drink and drive. Always tip your drivers, your delivery drivers, and your shoppers. And we'll see you next time.